If you've been dealing with fibromyalgia and chronic pain and nothing has made sense, this might be the most useful thing that you watch today. What's up guys, Mirren here. So in this video I wanted to break down the 3 types of pain that we all experience and why this happens. So the first pain type is nociceptive pain or nociception. So this is where there's some form of damage to the tissues or there's some form of injury that's occurred. So this might be from a cut, or you break your ankle, or you touch a hot surface. Now, when you have an injury like this, there's a big process that goes on in the background, but which you don't even realise is happening, but it happens super fast. So when you injure the area, the actual area itself will send signals up to the brain. The brain then has to make a decision to either create pain or to create no pain. To give you a brief description of what happens, so let's take the example of you cutting yourself. So the nerves in the area detect that change. They can detect, for example, the changes in pressure or in heat. So they'll send signals up to the brain to say, look, there's been a change. The brain then will filter through previous experiences, past events, your memories, if this has happened before or not, and it then makes a decision to create pain. And through the nerve fibers, again, it will send the signal of pain to that area. The aim of pain is to protect you from causing any more harm or any more damage to the area whilst the area heals. So with this type of pain, treatment makes sense. So things like rest, ice, compression, elevation to obviously stop the bleeding. As the area heals, the pain will settle down and you'll slowly sort of continue with your life again. The brain is super complex and it might alter the way pain is experienced even when you have an injury. The best example of this is, imagine that you're dealing with a lot of paperwork, you get a paper cut, you might not feel it immediately. You'll carry on with everything that you're doing, you finish off your jobs. Once you've sat down, you're just relaxing and watching a bit of TV, you might just start feeling that odd stinging to your finger. In the moment, the system had noticed what happened. That signal and what I described earlier, the signal from the area, from your finger towards your brain has still occurred. Your brain has then made that decision and thought to delay the pain because something else is going on. You're dealing with something that's a bit more important. So for that reason, the brain decided that it wasn't a priority to signal pain for you to protect it, but the damage still happened. It thought, well, this is more important, this has happened before, it's nothing to worry about, there's no danger, let's bring the pain on later on. That's when you feel the stinging, you'll give it a little wash and you just carry on with your day. In other instances, the brain can interpret pain signals as harmless even though something serious has happened. So in this example is from a pain specialist called Lorimer Moseley. So I'll link his TED talk in the video as well. He explains how he was walking through the outback and he felt a scratch on his ankle. He didn't see what happened, but he'd carried on walking. But in that split second is when that signal had occurred. His brain had filtered through past experiences, if this has happened before, and his brain had made the decision, yeah, it's happened before, you've been walking through the field or the outback as a kid and you felt a scratch, it's just a twig, there's nothing to worry about. An hour later, he woke up in hospital because he was bitten by a snake. A year later, a similar event took place. Again, he was walking through the outback, he felt a scratch on his ankle, and in that moment, he was in intense pain. He looked down and he saw that this time it was just a twig. But what happened is, because of that past experience of a snake bite the year before, his brain had kept hold of that memory because that was a life or death situation. So in that moment, the pain was so intense that he would need to take action to protect himself. The second pain type is neuropathic pain. So this is nerve pain. This is where the nerve itself is damaged or compressed, and it can give you symptoms like shooting pains, burning, numbness, tingling, pins and needles. And sciatica is a common one that a lot of us have experienced in the past. The system understands this one as well, but it's not always the easiest to treat. But there is a name for it and there's a mechanism behind it. There is also a lot of nuance behind this. So a lot of people experience sciatica, but sciatica is an umbrella term. If we talk about sciatica, sometimes the nerve can be pinched from the root, and that can cause intense burning, pins and needles. It can cause weakness down the affected side in the leg, and this might even require surgery for it to be fixed. Another form of sciatica, which is a lot more common, which is what a lot of us experience, this is where you will experience maybe a change in sensation, some pins and needles, some tingling and pain down the leg, but no weakness. So this is where the nerve itself has been stretched, and that could be due to muscle tissues or other structures around the area, rather than it being compressed from the root itself. This still falls under neuropathic pain. It's not as serious and most likely wouldn't need surgery, but this is just to differentiate between different types of pain. So the third pain type is nociplastic pain or neuroplastic pain. So this is where it gets interesting. This is where a lot of people with fibromyalgia are sitting without even knowing it. This is where there's no tissue damage or nerve damage, your scans are clear, your bloods are normal, you've had no injury, and you can't remember when or why the pain even started. So what's driving it is the nervous system itself. It's producing a pain signal as a threat response, even though there's nothing to protect you from. Nociplastic pain is real. It's not imagined, it's not in your head, and it's not exaggerated, and it's not a mental health issue. This is where your body is just doing its job. It just can't switch off that pain signal. So this is a type of pain that doesn't respond to exercise. It moves around. You might notice it in different places. One day you feel it in the back, the next day it's your neck. It's quite intermittent, so one day you're in a lot of pain, the next day you might be okay. So it can get worse with stress, and it might get better when you feel safe and relaxed. This is the kind of pain that is being labelled as anxiety or depression, or just something that you have to manage. In some cases, when people have had this pain for so many years, the pain signal can become an ingrained pathway that the body has learned. Similar to knowing how to use a pen or brush your teeth, we don't think about these things, we just do them, it just happens. Not that the treatments that you tried were wrong, it's just that they were aimed at pain 1 and 2. Nociceptive pain and neuropathic pain. People with fibromyalgia, it tends to be the third type, which is nociplastic or neuroplastic pain. If this is the first time that any of this has made sense, there's more in my newsletter, and I'll put the link in the description below. Thanks for listening.